Dear Boomer, we are the generation that can navigate a rotary phone with ease. What might need a tutorial for TikTok. Who would have ever known that starting a YouTube channel as a boomer with a boomer theme would be like walking into a virtual get off my lawn meme festival? Well, that is exactly what has happened. And there are so many people that do respect the older people, the older generation, the elders in our society, but they generally come from a different culture. Boomers on social media prove every day that they just didn't walk uphill to school and uphill to home. They also had to dodge dinosaurs. The great tech divide. I don't understand why boomers can't catch on to technology. Some do and some don't. We have they have a problem with, we haven't been raised with it. That's part of the problem. Although my brother, who would have been 83 by now, he was on the internet doing all kinds of stuff long before I ever was. That was in the early 80s, I think. But I had to adapt to the internet because of walking into high technological environments like a hospital. And when everything went online, charting was mandatory online so that all hospitals across the country could communicate with each other. That is when I knew I had to take this very seriously. So you can imagine a group of boomers as they enroll in millennial-run tech boot camps. So they have problems with the texting. They don't feel like using their thumbs, and they have problems going into what is social media savvy. How is it to be social media savvy? How do you become a savvy social media person? That is the question that I always ask. And that means not, we can be controversial, but we don't have to be mean. That is my main takeaway on that. So there are playful comparisons we can make, like a boomer trying to use voice commands on a typewriter or looking for any keys, the any key on a computer. Then you have the boomer versus foodie. And a boomer challenges a Generation X foodie to a cooking showdown. And they might think that quinoa is a rare disease, and as simultaneously the Generation X, or I should say Z, people struggle to use a can opener instead of a food delivery app. But it's all relative, really. There's a lot of things I don't understand about technology, and that is why I have a mastermind group. There's things that I understand and they don't understand, and they are a lot younger than I am. And so we exchange what we've learned and where to go to find what we have learned. So let's just say the boomers take over a popular gym for a day, and they reintroduce their old school workout routines, from jazzercise to aerobics in a full neon gear. Whereas the younger people they don't really need any instruction. They know what they're doing. They go from exercise machine to exercise machine, doing very, very well with whatever it is that they do. And we are kind of lost in the wilderness of this new world. And I suppose the future is going to bring us even more abstract things that might even be confusing to people who are in their 40s right now. Or I would say anybody who is growing up and is 5, 10, or 15 has a huge handle on what is going on in the technological sphere. We don't often understand the effects of how we speak, the tone of voice. The tone of voice can be translated into a comment. Even if you don't see the person, you feel the vibe. So the social media atmosphere, arena, helps us to be polite. I remember back in 2016, there was a lot of mean-spiritedness across the board with people who were disappointed in everything that was going on with politics at the time, and everybody was just shooting out sarcastic remarks to each other. And that, to me, was an example of listening to the way that you come across. Your tone of voice. We have a little bit of a challenge in our mastermind group to monitor our tone of voice. And that would include the tone of voice we use to speak to ourselves. So I notice a lot of people will say, "Oh, that was stupid," or I am stupid," and they might say a lot worse things to themselves privately. So the tone of voice and the way you speak to yourself and the way you speak to others and the way I speak to my dog, because he needs to know that he is a special little guy who needs love, 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 even when he is so mischievous that he just drives himself crazy, if not me. But my tone of voice to him has to be loving and just absolutely full of compassion for his little plight as he learns. He's so smart. But I don't like to teach him tricks because he has his own life and I don't need to teach him any tricks. So I have an older dog. When they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, that is so false, and it's also a false belief that is indicative of what we're talking about now. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. Who says that? First of all, Pearl is very smart, and actually she understands everything I have said. Anything I say today or have ever said, she knows. She will remember my husband who has passed. She will remember him when she passes over and meets him again, because he loved her so much, and she has not forgotten him. She has not forgotten anything. Little Maso, on the other hand, is a little bit flighty, and he is a young dog who might have a problem learning new tricks. He's such a sweetie. So, we have to understand that I think the younger people have a hard time knowing that sweatbands and leg warmers are a thing of the past, but the boomers have not. They still do these things. We don't really care what people think of us anymore. We don't really care after a certain age what people think, and we don't even care what we say. It blurts out, the honesty. When I was young, I was afraid to say what I really thought. And actually, I was really an introvert when I was young. And they say after 50 or after 60, you get brave and you say what it is you want to say. And just so long as it doesn't hurt anybody, although I think strong opinions can be hurtful. But I mean it when I say I started this channel not knowing that there is such animosity towards the boomers. I just got a comment on the channel that said that they love their older people. They love their older parents who would be considered boomers in America and probably are considered boomers across the board. But he said that there is no animosity towards that group of people, and that just is because our country has a lot to learn about ageism and about respect and taking responsibility for their own lives, however way that would be. We came up in a world of psychedelic drugs, marijuana, Vietnam War, civil rights, and women's rights, and things that we had a lot to do with advancing in our society. So those things were controversial, but we actually made sure that these laws were passed. We were demonstrating, we were making sure that the world would be good for the people, our children, their children. And I don't understand how that adds up to being selfish and narcissistic. I feel that when you call somebody else narcissistic, or you think somebody else is selfish and all that, you're actually projecting what it is you feel less strong about. I want you to please subscribe to my channel. I'm hoping to get 1,000 subscribers by the end of May or the beginning of June. And today is May 1st. Happy May 1st. Please subscribe to the channel. And that would be really, really great. And I appreciate everything that you coming over here, and even giving me any opinion that you want is fine. Keep doing it. Love to all. Bye-bye.